irrational thoughts which are often destructive to us, and it converts them into, I mean, rational, logical thoughts.
Yes, yes. So in the year 1960, there was a yes. Rishabh, you want to say something?
It started. It started.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So in the year 1960, there was a cognitive revolution which started, and the behavioral therapist and the cognitive therapist then came up with this cognitive behavior therapy in the year 1970. And the main founder behind cognitive therapy was Aaron Beck. And with the REBT, there were certain discredits with REBT like A, B, C model, and it was revised into ABCDE model. So I'm going to talk about all these things. So basically, as Jia said, and Sukhmanpreet said, yes, cognitive behavior therapy is more of the goal approach or goal oriented therapy, where we as a therapist help the client to identify their negative or maladaptive thought process which are going, or the schemas, and then we help them to explore more of the positive way in which they can, or their thought would be more in a goal oriented or in a positive way in which they can help their life to have a better life functioning. So there are more than 17 processes of like therapies which are in cognitive behavior therapy, that is the techniques. Then is cognitive behavior therapy is based on few models or few principles. Number one is that it is a very brief therapy. It's not as lengthy as psychodynamic. If you know that psychodynamic is also a therapy, so it's not as lengthy as psychodynamic. And it's second is it's a collaborative effort of both the therapist and the client. It's not only the client who is using all the things, or it's not only the, yes, Kriti, you want to say something?
No, no, ma'am. No.
Okay, okay. It's not only the client or not only the therapist who is doing, but it's a collaborative effort of both the client and the therapist. Third, it's more problem oriented, and its focuses on present, because the cognitive behavior therapist or those who practice CBT, they believe that past can't be changed, but yes, present can be modified and it can lead to a healthy future. But yes, how we are dealing with the thought processes in the past, we can always help them to identify that process or that negative thought process, and we can help them in a better functioning. Okay, till here, any doubt? As I can't see any one of you all, so till here, any doubts?
No.
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, okay. Okay, at least you all can give the response, that is the thumbs up or even the thumbs down if you all
Sure,
are
ma'am. Sure, sure.
Okay. Next is, it's a very, yes, Kriti. Kriti, you want to say something? Yes, Amruta, tell me. Am I audible to you all, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes.
I think by mistake they have raised their hands. Okay, now is the CBT treatment usually involves the effort, as I said. Firstly, you have to identify. So this slide you can relate in the upcoming slides. So here it's basically written that whatever your thought process, Kriti, why your hands is raised up? Do you want to say something? Or you can hold with your question, I'll take up in the last, not an issue. So there are different methods of CBT, which we are going to eventually identify right now. But yes, one of the most prominent method is problem solving skill, which people think is very difficult. But I also practice CBT with my clients, not all, but yes, mostly with all my clients. But the problem solving skill is not as difficult as people think, number one. Second is, whatever the client says, he is telling out of confidently, or he is very confident, but there is a process which we call it as thought challenging. The moment you challenge the thought, or the moment you question his thought process, he's like, can be, can't be. So basically here in this slide, it is only written in point wise. Next is, I hope most of you all are aware of the CBT triangle. That is your thought, behavior, and emotion. Now, why thought, behavior, and emotion? It would be better if I go for a role play, but due to time constraint, I won't be able to do that. I'm so sorry. But yes, definitely, I'm going to make you understand what is thought, behavior, and emotion. For example, after few years, or after 3 to 5 years, you people or any one of you all meet a friend of yours, right? Now you are pretty excited to talk to her or talk to him, anything. But suddenly you notice that your friend, and that was a school friend, he or she ignored you, right? Now, what is your thought at that moment? I want answers from you all. What would be your thought? Like, for example, if your friend ignores you, what are the basic thoughts which are going to come up to you all?
I would say why she ignored me.
Okay, you are going to tell why she ignored you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any mistake we did?
Yeah, we would be wondering like what happened, like why she ignored us.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
go
Hmm.
why is this?
Maybe like
Yes.
I might ask myself, is she okay?
Okay. 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 Yes.
Maybe she
One of,
didn't recognize us.
yes.
She-
Yeah. One of the very good response which we are going to think is that rejection feeling, the feeling of being rejected.
Yeah.
She ignored me, right? Most of us, I'm not talking about in terms of psychology. If I leave psychology, if I leave about this example, general, what are the things? We are going to feel sad, more than angry, we are going to feel sad, which in turn would lead to a feeling of rejection. Is she a real friend of mine? This was the thought. Now, what are the behaviors out of this thought? How would you behave?
Surprised, shocked,
Surprised, shocked, any other behavior?
confused,
Confused, okay.
Worried.
Worried, okay. Yes,
Anxious.
Frustrated.
Withdrawal.
Frustrated.
frustrated. Okay, so many emotions, so many behaviors would be there. Frustration. Now, what your behavior would be your emotion? What would be your emotion? Angry, feeling bad, okay. Any other
Feeling
emotion?
bad.
Sad, okay.
yeah, disappoint, sad.
Disappointed, humiliated,
Yeah.
right? So, see, your one thought process that you made it out in your mind that your friend ignored you. Your friend might be in certain situation, I'm not going to talk about that situation, but it can be a general situation out of what you made a thought that your friend ignored you, you are of no use, you are feeling very disappointed. Behavior is like you are feeling very sad, you are feeling humiliated, you are feeling lonely, kind of depressed, yes, ego problem. Now the emotion would be feeling of lonely, right? This would be the general CBT triangle. I hope so. Now, if a client comes to you, and it's pretty normal that the clients or this process is pretty well with not only with depression, but you can apply CBT with OCD clients also. Now, what happened? Every circle is going on. Again, with that emotion, your thought comes up. The moment you feel humiliated, you are feeling that no, right now I'm going to unfriend her from all my social media handles. Right? Again, with that, what is the behavior coming? Might be she did not want to talk to me. I am not worthy. What is the again emotion? Leading to a fear of anger or fear of being isolated. This would constantly go on. And that is what the water circle, we call it as also, that is the triangle one. It won't stop unless and until you are telling stop over here. It won't stop. Now, all these things can be heard or can be dealt with CBT. Now, there are questionnaires which can eventually help you and your client to make the therapeutic session more familiar. Am I clear with this CBT triangle one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if I talk about the model. Now, situation. Now, taking this same example. Now, you are going to a school or you are going to a workplace. Now, what is your situation? You are sitting inside a public transport. It can be train, it can be bus, anything. Now, suddenly, what are your thoughts coming up? After this, your friend ignored you, right? That would be your first thought. Why did she ignore me?
Might be able to
Hmm.
listen, like what might have happened.
Yes, what might have happened? Out of that, what would be your emotion? The
Sad.
one who are very soft-hearted, they would tend to cry. Yes,
Sad.
sad, right? They would be feeling very bad instead of getting angry. Now, what would be their behavior? For some, the behavior would be directly taking up the
Crying.
calling or texting up, filling of direction. Yes. Now, what would be the physical behavior?
Disappointed.
Yes.
Feeling alone.
Feeling alone. Yes, that would be the
Disappointed.
behavior. Disappointed, silent, ignoring him back. Now, what would be the physical reaction of yours?
Lack of sleep.
Yes. What would be
Maybe
the
isolation, ma'am.
Crying.
physically what you are going to feel? Physical. I'm not talking about emotional. Physical.
Headache.
Maybe fatigueness, feeling
Yes.
low.
Fatigue,
Yeah.
feeling low,
They,
feeling headache.
Yeah.
Yes, headache.
yeah.
Headache.
Feeling
Yeah.
of thirsty.
BP
Lo-
low high.
Loss
Yes.
of appetite.
Loss of appetite. Yes, for most of us.
BP.
Anorexia.
Kind of anxiety, maybe. Like why?
Oh, any symptoms of anxiety which would be prominent here in the physical reaction?
Loss of appetite.
Restlessness. BP related
Restlessness.
problems.
Sleep issues.
Numbness.
Higher
Messed
heart
up,
rate.
lethargic, yes. Fast heart rate, yes. This would be the physical reaction. Now, did you get why exactly is CBT necessary for depression, for anxiety, for communication issue with relation, like communication gap with partner, with friends? Did you understand what is leading to what? This is a small instant, right? So CBT, now I'll tell you a very honest thing. I am not only a CBT practitioner, I practice all other therapies, but the primary intervention when I do is with this model itself. I try to identify the thought, the behavior, the emotion, or I try to find out the ABCDE one. I'll come up to what exactly is ABCDE. Now, clear what is this process or what is exactly CBT triangle, how you can intervene with the client?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now there is a example. Okay. Now the thought, the situation is someone is looking for a job, that too online, and he's with his laptop or computer, and the computer is not working. Can be a general situation for most of us.
Yes.
And we are sitting, our
Yes,
laptop
ma'am.
is not working. Either what can be the issues of not the laptop is not working, the laptop is overdrained. My laptop is leaving my side condition. Yes, old Wi-Fi is not working properly.
Connection.
Connection issues, right? Now, what would be the thought? For example, if a client is coming and he's pretty depressed, network issue, yes. Now, if I talk about us, we are not going to talk about us. We are going to talk about the client in general. And this example, I have taken it from net, but this example is not a merely example. I got this client for more than 5 times, not only one client, separate clients, and most of them were the students. Like after 12, they were appearing for jobs, pretty good jobs. After graduation, they were appearing. Now, the first thought, what would come is, I am not good at doing anything. This happens with me always. Yes, it happens with me also. honestly. Now the first question is, what the thought of a general individual is, I am good at nothing, and so is this laptop is also rejecting me, right? Laptop rejecting me.
Negative thought.
Negative thought.
Yeah.
Now what would be the and behavior of this?
Irritate,
Irritation,
angry,
angry, and I did
Sadness.
also. I majorly I did it. I threw my laptop. Right? These students, yes. Now the student who came up to me, he said what was the behavior was, he was literally getting pissed off, beating the laptop. Yes, in fact, I do. If my laptop is not working, I'll take up the laptop like this and I'll do start hoja, start hoja. This is what I do with my laptop. But what would be the behavior? Angry, crying, feeling frustrated. And the student said me, I did not want to leave my life right now. That was the behavior. Now the bodily feelings. Chest pain for most of them. A sort of panic attack, but not a panic attack.
they hand shaking, palpitations
Yes,
and all.
dryness of mouth,
Yeah.
feeling of nausea, feeling
Heavy.
of headache, high chest,
Sweating,
sweating. That would be the body sensation.
Tingling
Now
sensation.
out of,
Shivering.
yes, Sayam,
Breathlessness. Breathlessness.
breathlessness, washroom urgency, yes.
Shivering.
Shivering, feeling
Yes.
like my stomach wants to say something, but exactly what my stomach wants to say, I don't know. Right? These are the bodily sensation. Out
And,
of that, what? Yes, Anjali.
Ma'am, and the problem in breathing as well.
Hmm. Yes, and the problem in breathing. What would be the emotion which is coming out of that is? What are the emotions?
Of the person who has come to see, right? The
In
student.
general, what would be the emotion? Frustrated, yes.
Sad,
Frustration,
Helpless,
rejection,
feeling of
stress.
rejection,
Stress.
helpless, worthless,
Stressfulness.
stress,
Anxious.
Yes.
failure, and like why
Irritation. Irritated.
yes, yes. For me, only all this happens, yes. Now, worried, self-doubt, yes. Now, this can also, the bodily sensation, this can also accompany with the feeling of harming oneself. Right? I'll tell you a case. She was in class 12, 11. 11 or 12, I exactly forgot. I was thereby attached with the school, but not as a school counselor. But yes, they used to refer me cases because their school counselor, the school felt, I am not going to name the school, the school felt the school counselor was not equipped in dealing with the parental issue, with the child's issue and everything, and hence she used to refer, principal ma'am used to refer me cases. This girl, she was in class either 11 or 12. Now the situation was, what the school said me was, whenever she used to come to the school, she used to cry, like in her home, she used to cry out loudly, and then she used to come back to the school. And now after coming back, she used to she was in a relationship with a boy. Firstly, I forgot to mention. And something happened after 14 days when the relationship broke. She was not being able to come to the school. Now she was being brought to me in my clinic. So first, the situation was, before she used to come to the school, she used to cry. Okay? If you are having a pen paper, you can write it down. She used to cry. The situation was, before coming to school, she used to cry. This was only the problem the school noticed. Now it was very difficult for her and me to get well adjust, because she wanted some other languages and I was not comfortable in like Tamil and all the sort of language. So I said that I could refer her. But after 3 sessions, I don't know what happened. And in the first 3 sessions, what I did was, I went for all the art therapeutic techniques. I went for coloring, I went for decluttering of her mind, and she was doing well. On the 4th session, the thought, I said, what is happening? Why do you don't want to go to school? Or before you are going to school, why you are crying? She mentioned, I don't like to go to school. I said, why? The thought which she said me that she was pretty black in color. The skin color was black, and hence no one used to talk to her, or she had no friends. But she mentioned I was in relationship with a boy, and the age of the boy was double her, around 45 or 46. Now she developed her thought, as my skin color is not that whitish, no one is going to talk to me. The behavior was she used to cry. That was the behavior. Now the bodily sensation which she did, she used to harm herself. She used to cut off her hand every single day before coming. And this was not even for a single, yes, body shaming. She was not this deliberate self-harm issue was not being noticed by the school teacher, by the parents, and even by the school counselor. This was the sensation she used to have. And she said me, the moment I cut off my hand or I slipped off my wrist, I need to put up sugar. Salt, sorry, not sugar, salt. Then she used to come back to the school. But her parents said, and the principal ma'am said, that after crying, then only she'll be coming. Yes, definitely she used to cry. But after crying, she used to slit off the wrist, and then she used to come to the school. And the emotion which she used to come was very bad. She said me, I was very frustrated. I don't want to attend my school, but I have to attend only for the sake of society. And this has accompanied to a feeling of broken relationship. Now she said me, thus only for this society, my relationship, I had to go to a breakup and something. I said, why do you think? Why for this society? She said, number one, of the age of my partner, and the age of the partner, I said either 45 or 46. Secondly, because of her color, skin color, she blamed the society. Yes, I had to tell this case. I had a report. Not only to the school, but to the parents also. Now, it was almost 25 sessions we had to give her to change her thought process that not only your skin color is like this. Even I remember I gave an example of Bipasa Basu, that her skin color was exactly the same. And in fact, it was one shade darker to her. Then on this, I remember this was done on 24th session. And then she was pretty good. And right now she is doing awesome in her life. So it is not only for this case. If any case of infertility is also coming up, you have to identify what is the exact cause of infertility, especially the secondary infertility. Now I'll tell what are primary infertility, what is secondary infertility. Primary infertility are those types of infertility where the couples are not being able to conceive for even once. Secondary means they have a own child, the first child. Now for the second time, they are not being able to conceive. Now infertility can also be linked to high stress, depression, or any forms of psychosomatic issues. You have to identify. So basic CBT skills are required. CBT is not theoretical oriented. You have to understand the fact. CBT, as I said, CBT में REBT का process भी आता है. Like in REBT, what is there? ABC model. Most of us are aware of ABC model. In CBT, ABCDE model is also there. How many of you are aware of this? ABCDEA?
I'm aware of it.
Okay, Bhavna. Okay. So most of us are. Yes, sir.
It's me, Chiranjeevi.
Yes, sir.
It's me, Chiranjeevi. I'm aware of it.
Okay. Okay, Abhijit, I'll explain what happens. So basic CBT, these skills have to be identified very clearly. Because as I said, the harming one was not being identified, not even by the parents. I have pretty a number of cases with CBT. So I'll come. Now this is the case, another case, which is a very like talked case. I and Sachi was having a, not Sachi, but not Sachi Aro, some other Sachi was having a talk. Now this was the event when, for example, you are in a market. Someone collapsed with you. The first interpretation, what you are going to derive? What is the general interpretation you are going to get?
The other person was rude.
Yes, obviously. Any other? Girls, what you all are going to feel?
Maybe intentions were not right.
Yes. Anything else? The other person did it intentionally.
They
Yes.
took me as an easy target.
Yes. And the boys?
Now
Boys?
this prank culture is rampant, madam. So we think that he may be doing the prank, social prank.
Okay. Social media, that YouTube wala prank.
Yeah.
Person in hurry. Okay. Now I'll tell. In general, I have a case, but I won't be discussing this case. This same case I have in two circumstances. One does case happened with a girl, and one was the case happened with a boy. Now the girl, she was pretty good looking. She said me, this Buddha, like not the Buddha, the age was only 30 of the boy. The girl said me that as I am so cute, and she uttered a word, as I'm so sexy, he did this intentionally. Shantiji, yes. He did this intentionally just to see whether I'm having my own breast or not. And the boy who had this same case, he said me, ma'am, that might be a gay. These are the two interpretations which was being derived. Now the behavior of both of them was quite similar, that to shout at in the marketplace, but not only the girl shouted, the girl, I remember, she said me, she created a chaos in the market. I'll call up the police, I'll call up this lucky Buddha. Okay, I'll call up this police, I'll call up this NGO with you walking with females, I am blah blah blah. But the boy only shouted that, "Are dekhiye to chalo." Now, what was the what was the emotions of the boy? He was angry. But the girl was angry, and the girl said me, I wanted to slap him in front of everyone. Now, if you all are getting this sort of cases, or this, I discussed 2-3 cases in CBT models, how you all are going to handle. Firstly, how you all are going to deal with.
With patience, we listen them.
Okay.
We understand their beliefs, madam. Understand their beliefs, their thought patterns,
We'll
right?
try
And
to
their behavior.
Hmm.
Like it's a chain analysis, right? Right from the thought until the behavior, we will analyze everything in between.
Okay, you are going to analyze them. Now, what happens after analyzing?
So we'll come to know whether if there is something wrong with their thoughts, because most of the times it could be the case, because what we think may not be correct, right? That's why we challenge their beliefs, right?
Before challenging, what you are going to do?
Like we have to analyze that. Okay, the thought, does it have any evidence, right?
Validating their thoughts?
Yes, validating their thoughts, and then we will scientifically tell them this thought doesn't have any evidence, and it is irrational thought, not a rational one, because there is no logic or it is not based on any facts. So then we'll tell the client, so this is how I'm going to change your thoughts. I mean, how we challenge your thoughts and make a new one. Like for example, if you look at the ABCD model, right, we'll dispute the thought, right? Okay, antecedent is there, belief is there, consequence is there. We will then dispute it. Then the next stage would be like refined thought, refined one.
Now, for example, if you are telling that I am going to dispute to the challenging thought, now how you are going to dispute the thought of this boy and this girl? That especially for the boy, he can be a, like, he has to be a gay. Like for the very 6 to 7 session, we remember he was on the process of he has to be gay. He has to be gay.
May not be the case, madam.
Now, how you are going to help the client?
See, this is,
The client is having a issue with her, with his or with her thought process. Now, how
That's
you are
what,
going to?
madam, there is something called cognitive distortions. I think we are already aware of, right? Right? Cognitive distortion. So we can say must thinking, like I must do it, I should do it, or he must be the gay. That's not the case. We have not even seen him in person. We don't even know him in person that much that whether he is a gay or straight or bisexual or heterosexual, right? So most of the case it happens that our thought process, we think that someone is gay, but in fact he's not.
I think we have to make them comfortable. Like they can discuss. We have to make them more open.
Yes. See, I'll tell you, sir, what you were saying was pretty, like, it was not practically true because firstly, they won't have that much of understanding that no, it can't be. That is the reason we call it as cognitive distortion. For example, I'll tell you my example thing. If someone says me, Shraddhanjali, you are fat. I know I'm not fat, but for more than 72 hours, I'll be on that process. Literally, I have been fat. And it has been for more than 5 to 6 times I was going to gym, coming back, going to gym, coming back. Therapy did not help me. CBT did not help me eventually. What helped me, you all can't imagine. It was expressive art therapy. I was having an issue with my body. I was not being able to accept my body itself. Now if someone says me, Shraddhanjali, you are fat, you are too thin, you are too dark, I'm saying, okay, fine, I'm good. But the moment CBT pops up, it's pretty difficult to have the client. So for the very 2 to 3 session, or even it can take 5 to 6 sessions, you have to accept the client. Okay, it can be a fact. Now you have to challenge. It can be a fact that he was a gay. Now, why did he only hit you? What do you think? But you have to take in consideration of your vocal tone also. Now, I am shouting over here. It's pretty bad. I know that. But my vocal tone is also in this, like in my therapeutic session, it's like this. I have issue with my vocal tone. Most of my clients know that. But firstly, as a therapist, we need to have a check on us also. That whether we are having an issue with our thought process. The moment I know someone, I won't name, that therapist claims to be a core affirmative therapist and a king affirmative therapist. But the moment she gets up client with trans men, trans women, bisexual, she's like, please don't come up to me. I don't like talking to your community. Now, what the hell she is doing? She is not only losing her self-confidence, but she is demoralizing the confidence of others' community also. So firstly, we have to accept the fact that, okay, it can be. Okay, my husband is not touching me. Okay, talk to me. For the very first session, no, none of the therapists do start with any sort of therapy. There is a big questionnaires like CRF and MSc, which we have to fill it. For 1-2 session, we need time to fill it down.
But before that, we need to take the case history, no, madam.
Yes, case history, as I said, you have to take the case history. It's pretty mandatory. Now, for this client, for the boy, the finding by the psychiatrist was he was having a phobia with the queer communities. And hence he reacted in this form. You need to identify. Yes, Arpita. Yeah, we need to identify. For me, what was my issue? My issue, I did not know. Only my therapist know. Still now, she only know what was my issue with my body. I did not know. So the very first thing which we have to do is the 3 C's of CBT. Catch, check, and change. Now, Someone was saying, Kriti, you want to say something?
No, ma'am, no. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is catch? Tell me.
To
We
identify the problem which is in our thought process, to catch some
where
sort of emotions.
Yes, to get the awareness of our own faulty things. Then is check whether the
We
thought
have
is
to catch
yes.
their behavior.
Yes, that is the thing. I don't know whether it's zooming or not. I'll zoom it. Okay. You have to identify. As Kat says that this is a thinking. That you have to reflect on your thought process. Sahi mein you are fat. Now check. You have to check the validity. Like in research, we check the validity of the test. Yes, Anjali.
Yes, ma'am, that we need to check this if there is any rational point here or not.
You have to ask the question whether it's valid, whether it's right, whether it's not right. And there are questions. Then you have to change. Now you have to replace your thought, your schemas with a new belief. It can be. Now, for example, if I take the example of the friend, now someone say me what would be the catch one, like the three C's. Number one, catch. What would be the catch of the friend that my friend ignored me? Anyone?
Maybe I would have said something which he or she doesn't like.
Okay, so you have identified the thought that you said something that your friend did not like it. Now check.
what have I said? Like, what did I say?
Does he or she really don't like me, or it is just my thought that I mean they don't like me?
Sir, won't come over here. Now you have to ask the questions.
Okay.
Is she ignoring me? Yes,
Deliberately.
maybe she did not. Because the moment you are telling don't, I'll tell you what happens. The moment we are telling don't, we give a signal to our brain. That means no. So we are not going to utter that whether she did or not, we are going to question our question, like our thought. It's only a question, yes or no.
And
Yes, Manpreet.
am I overthinking?
Yes. Now the change is, it can be that she was in a hurry. It can be she did not notice me because she was down with pressure. It can be any pressure. It can be the pressure from the boss. It can be the financial pressure because of her EMI. So what is your new belief right now or your new thought right now?
Because my friend is stressed, or because she's going through so many things, she might not have noticed me and given proper attention to me.
Yes. Now did you identify the thought? What was exactly the issue? And right now, what is the exact issue or what is your belief system right now? This is what it happens with CBT. Now there are therapists who says, I don't even practice CBT. Underline, they practice CBT. Because if they are not going to practice CBT, how they are going to identify about this? What exactly is the event? What was the interpretation? What is the behavior? What are the emotions which is coming up? CBT, unlike psychodynamics, it is not that old, but yeah, CBT is one of the most oldest therapy. How many of you all practice CBT?
I do.
Yeah, most of us do. Hina, yeah, most of us. So, yeah, who raised the hand? Okay, that means okay. So this is what I said, and I elaborated it. And those who know my way of teaching, I don't go by the PPT and explanation. This is just for your understanding, that you can understand after the class and after the recording is being provided what exactly happens. Now, okay, before, yes. Now. Someone raise the hand. Okay, anyone who can raise the hand, please hold to for 5 minutes. I'm going to complete this part and I'm going to come. Now the CBT techniques. Now, number one is intake sheet. As Chiranjit sir said, or I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it very badly, but the intake sheet, I'm going to show how many pages we have the intake sheet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 pages. The intake sheet is 10 pages. Yes, Kushbu.
What are the components of the intake sheet? Can you please just brief?
Yes, I am going to brief it. What are there? Basically, name, age, family name, like mother's name, father's name, occupation. So many things. Address, home address, family incomes. Then is the MAC, which generally starts like how demographic details. Yes, how the client was dressing up. I'll tell you a case, but I'm not going to tell you what was the exact case. This was a case, a very pathetic. That was my first severe case, which I was doing with one of the, with the help of a psychiatrist. She was overly dressed. Now she said me, "Is it a hospital?" And that was a government hospital, not a multi-specialty, but a government hospital, very old. From the water, like walls, the water used to come every day. Now she was wearing a lehenga and she was dressed as if she was a bride. So that was a case. In fact, you have to write it down. The attitude also. What is the attitude? Whether the client is having eye contact or not. What is the introvert, extrovert types you have to write? What are the particularly observation as a therapist you are doing? What are the personalities which you get in the client? What are the self-image issues the client is telling? Then life history, past history matlab whether the client was under any medicines or not, whether any sort of, and it's pretty big. It's pretty big. Like honestly, I don't lie, but for this filling up this intent I take 3 days. But I take not more than 3 days, 2 to 3 days. It depends. Next is the introduction and rapport. While you are taking the intake sheet, no rapport are being formed, and that's the reason for me. I'll tell because most of the topics are like blank. Client don't want to say in the initial of the sessions, so it would take time. And these CBT techniques like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Okay, 10. Please don't think that 10 techniques matlab 10 days. No. For one signal techniques, if I talk about the ABC model, it would take 5 to 7 days. If I talk about the thought diary for me or for any other general therapist practicing CBT, 11 to 12 sessions. Concern area, to identify the concern area along with the comorbid concern area, it would take 3 to 4 sessions. So it's a pretty big session. Then introduction and rapport. Yes, unless and until you are creating the rapport with the client, they are not going to pop up that, yeah, these are my issues or these are my problems. The client would be saying, I don't have any issue. My mom, my dad is bringing me up. Then is mood inducement. There are 5 to 6 questionnaires in mood inducement. You have to understand the mood of the client. And there are questionnaires. For all these things, please don't think that you can't do anything. But yeah, there are certain questionnaires, there are certain techniques which, yes, Kushbu.
Ma'am, I wanted to know what are what type of questionnaire, which questionnaire?
See, I won't be able to complete in this session, but the questionnaire would be completed in the course. Like we are coming up with the course. Okay. So there, I'm not going to only talk, I'm going to give the questionnaires and the worksheets. Like okay. For what client you are going to deal, like for depression, for depression, the client is coming. You can't give that questionnaire or that worksheets to a client who is coming up with communication issues. Because people think that those who are having depression, they are having communication issue. Or those who are having communication issue, they are having depression. It's completely different.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next is identify the negative thought process. Now, after the mood has been identified that this is the mood and it would take time, Then it's the time for identify the negative thought which is going in the mind of the client. Now, negative thought means anything. I don't want to die. People don't like me. Why people don't like me? People don't like me. I am not good looking. No one loves me. I am not good at doing anything. So many questions or so many thoughts. You have to dhire identify what are the thoughts. Like opening a wool. How many of you have seen the wool?
Yeah.
Opening that wool, it's pretty difficult.
Untangling.
Yes, sir?
Untangling.
Yes, untangling. Next is the ABC model. After identification of all the negative thought process which are there with the client, then is the time for ABC model. And yes, you have to do with the client. It's not that you are doing and the client is saying, okay. Okay. Here, as I said, the maximum participation of the client is necessary. Unless the client is willing to change or unless the client is willing to open up, CBT won't help. Next, after ABC is you have to challenge. Here, this challenging negative thought process is also a technique which can be done with OCD clients, which can be done with depressed clients and with anxious clients also. And with, yes, obviously with substance use clients also, abuse clients. The moment you are challenging the negative thought, it would take time. एक दिन में नहीं होगा, 2 session में भी नहीं होगा. It would take time. Then thought diary. Now in this thought diary, it's a sort of homework you have to give to the clients. Now I'm not going to give anyone, but it's a sort of a homework which you have to give to the client. Just let me show you. Yes, this one. This is only one which I gave it, but there are more. The questions can be written. I'll give the example of OCD clients. Now thought diary, whatever the thought, because the day, for example, the client came up to you on 15th. All the things was done and it is 15th June and the session for thought diary would be somewhere about June, July, August, 15th August. Now you can't tell the client on 16th August, come back to me. So after 14 days or after 1 week, whatever the number of days you are writing, the client have to come back. So within that day, whatever thoughts are coming up, it can be negative. I'm not telling that after all the techniques have been done, no negative thought would come. No, negative thought would come. Then what would happen? You are going to replace the thought with a pleasant thought. Now I don't have that worksheets right now, but there are pleasant thought how you are going to replace it. Now, for example, the client is saying, okay, let me give the example of OCD. Washing. Leaving the case of washing hands is very common. OCD of being OCD, religious OCD. Now this client, she was having issues with reading cleaning. Yes, cleaning is very common. The client which I'm talking about, religious OCD, she was having issue with reading Quran. She was from Brahmin and she somehow married a Muslim community people, like guy. And right now, whenever she sits for reading Quran, she can't. Now she was having certain sort of bad thinking. She said me, I don't like to read Quran. I feel that this culture, this religious is not for me. I'm not telling to any client, but she said me. And she was having a comorbid condition of washing hand. The moment she was having this Quran, for example, if this could be the Quran, she would read, and it was very difficult issue with her for reading this Quran. The moment she used to complete, she used to keep the Quran like this and she used to wash the hand for 10 to 15 times. Our brother-in-law also stated this. Now, what would be the pleasant thought? Everything being done. Now the pleasant thought is, yes, you can wash your hand, but not after reading Quran. Before reading Quran, wash your hand for 5 to 6 times. Pleasant washing hand would be there. I'm not telling, because see, any therapist who says OCD is curable, it's not curable, it's highly manageable. OCD is not curable. My sister, not my own sister, but my cousin sister have an issue with OCD, and she is having high issues with OCD. Every time she's out, she'll call me. Did I lock the door? And I'm like, please keep the phone. Because I live in a joint family. I'm like, please keep the phone. Don't irritate me. So right now, it's highly manageable. OCD is never curable. It's highly manageable with the right therapeutic intervention. Because I have seen one of the therapists, she was doing art therapy with OCD client. I was like, Hare Bapre, what she is doing? What exactly art mein hoga kya? So you have to understand how you are going to replace. It can be with your, like how you are going to help the client. Now ask the client. There are certain questions, there are certain techniques we can engage people with certain tasks only just to, yes, just as a sort of displacement, the mature self-defense mechanism, that you are not going to do this, you are going to do this. Instead, you are going to do this. CBT is wonder. Like, yes, along with other therapies you can do, it's nothing. But the major thing is you have to identify what is the concern, what is the major issue with this client. And then comes goal setting. Now, goal setting is also not the end. Like, goal setting is obviously the end. Now, goal setting distraction is a healthy. Yes. Now, you have to understand how you are going to have a goal setting with the client. Now, for example, you as a therapist can't impose that, yeah, this is your goal setting. You have to do this. No. Ask the client. CBT is very transparent. I am not talking about other therapies, but yes, CBT is very transparent. Whatever you ask the client, and the client would be answering, would be reciprocating to your thought. Yes, I would be doing. And yes, there is homework. You have to give the client the homeworks. Now, these are the other techniques of CBT. Number one is pattern tracking. What are the patterns in which the issues are coming up? You have to ask. Yes. You have to ask the client that what are the patterns? Patterns over here means the ABC model. You have to identify what exactly is the ABC model. Then is reframing thoughts. You have to identify the negative thoughts and you have to reframe with a positive one. As I said, challenging. Now, challenging me, there are certain questions which you can challenge and how you can challenge, obviously. And see, I'll tell in worksheets in question what happens. A general question of 100, 200, 250 or even 1,000 questions you can get. But it depends on your capability, how you are challenging the questions. Then is journaling, mindfulness, meditation. Yes, journaling, whatever. It can be any sort. Whatever he wants, ask him to write it down. Mindfulness can be with the progressive muscle relaxation, any form of grounding technique. Especially, my clients do resonate with a grounding technique, that is the tracing of hand. Finger tracing, not hand. This is the finger tracing. Then is activity scheduling. Now, activity scheduling, you can ask the client to replace whatever activity, and this activity scheduling helps this activity does with substance use clients. And when I'm going to talk about substance use, then you can understand how it helps. Obviously, it won't be possible. Now, cognitive rehearsal is where the patient, where you as a therapist should addiction to distraction. I did not like get your questions. I did not understand. Addiction to distraction is not helpful. Hence, the treatment should follow immediately. Means I did not get.
There was a question that what if they engage in addiction to distraction instead of always getting distracted instead of not doing anything about it? It's not helpful. That's what I said. That's a distraction for the time being, but an intervention should take place immediately.
Yes.
That's what my answer was.
Yes. Okay. Finger tracing is you have to ask the client, sit down calmly. There are instructions which you have to follow. Either ask the client to do with you. You as a therapist, the client is, okay, Rashi. What you have to ask, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and the breath should come directly from your navel. Take a deep breath. The moment it's here, you have to leave, and it can be vice versa for certain therapists, but I follow in this way. And it goes like this. It can be any technique as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It can be other technique as the EFT tapping technique at the back of your head, the karate chop, the tapping of under the eyes. So I do the journaling and the mindfulness meditation in my way. I don't follow a single technique of my meditation. Yes, EFT is wonder. I do CBT and EFT as a combine. So yes, now in cognitive rehearsal, you have to ask the client to the therapist over here. As a therapist, you have to ask the client to recall a problematic situation. For example, the problematic situation for me was me having a bad fight with my father last night. So now you have to identify, or you as a therapist would help the client identify why did you had a fight with your father. This issue. Now challenge. Now second thought would be you have to ask, was your thought real or whatever your father said was real? I gave my example because I had a bad fight with my father. So as a therapist, you have to ask. Now you have to validate. As in stat, there is validation. You have to validate. Now ask the client to write it down. Like obviously here I am the client. As a therapist, you can ask me, write it down. Now write it down means it can be my positive emotion, it can be my negative emotion. But the only instruction would be write it down whatever you feel like. And I instruct my client, if you feel like giving a slang, please do write it down. And I see client who went out in that way, very like in a very good way, especially the school girls and the boys, not only the girls, on all the boys also. Now this is the way you have to identify. See, CBT में एक technique नहीं होगा. If you think you are only going to challenge the thought and you are going to go for any sort of mindfulness technique, it won't happen. Now, what I was supposed, exposure therapy. Now, exposure therapy works well with phobia. Now, please be sure if you are dealing with phobic clients, you have to be very comfortable because I have fear of water. If I see client coming up with this fear and if I feel that I need to do exposure therapy, I am not there. I am literally not there. So if you are having a phobia and the client is coming up with the same phobia, it's requested or it's advised that please do refer the client to some other because it can trigger your emotions also. I have seen a lot. Okay. And is it visible? From my tab, it's visible.
No, ma'am.
It's not visible.
Just
Is it
leave it.
visible right now?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
madam.
Yes, now.
Okay. Now, this is the CBT worksheets. You have to give the client, and I gave it over here. Like the situation, the thoughts, as I said, the ABC one, the feelings, now the evidence. Now, evidence here means you have to ask exactly what your feelings are. Like, for example, if I go with this only, the thing is that the feeling is I am extremely anxious. The evidence is, did you have any sort of anxious evidence within yourself? Yes. Within outside? No. You have to support whatever the client is telling. It's not that you have to tell, okay, yes, no. You have to answer. Like you have to question back. Every time you have to question back. Next is counter evidence. Evidence against evidence. Give a proof to me. Okay, I'll do. Please write it down in the group because I'll forget, but I'll do. Not an issue. Now the new perspective. Replace with all the evidence, counter evidence, replace with a new thought process. This, see, I'll tell you. CBT may I particularly have more than 50 plus worksheets. But the thing is that you have to know how to handle that. Like this worksheets is pretty much common with every therapist. But where to give, whom to give, it's onto you or like your evidence, not only your evidence, your experience that, okay, you are giving this to a 15 years old boy. No, because for 15 years old boy, evidence tak theek hai. But what about counter evidence? 12 years old girl can't do. Counter evidence is there. So you have to understand. Next is the thought challenging. Don't worry, I'm going to give this. It's not visible. Now, please keep it handy with this. Like, yeah, this, do let me know if it is visible or it's pretty hazy. I can understand, but don't worry. Yes, Anjali, tell me.
Not visible, ma'am.
Not visible, I understand. Okay. I'm going to upload
Now
it.
it is visible. It is visible in the laptop. I'm not sure about phones.
No, ma'am, it's not visible.
I'm
Yes,
able to
ma'am.
read
Now
it.
it is visible.
Okay, but don't worry, I'm going to share it in, as the moment you all are going to get the PPT, it would be pretty visible to everyone. Yes, pretty visible. I understand somewhere down the line it's pretty hazy because it's hazy from my side also right now. Don't worry, I'm going to share the cognitive model and I give my clients, but yes, this is not my customization because I don't give my customization to any of my students because I did the customization as by my thinking, like from 11, sorry, from 10 to 15, 16 to 20, 21 to 25. I have, that is the thing I have more. So this is a way you can give to the client, and yes, you can customize as per your learning and how you feel that your clients are, because there are clients who won't be resonating. No, ma'am, it doesn't, don't happen with me because I don't have the people right now. For cognitive model, if I go with the cognitive model, I have more than 10 plus worksheets up only this. And 10 plus is not a customization which I did. Because my customization goes with the area, number one, in which area I'm going. Again with the culture, because I think that culture do play an important role, because I feel that, again, age, number one, and there is a separate entity of all the therapeutic worksheets for me for the queer clients, because their emotions, their went out are pretty much higher than we can. So yes, this was the cognitive. I don't know, it's pretty visible right now, but I understand. So the moment all the recordings and the PPT is being uploaded, you all can get it, not an issue. So Rishabh, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, so the CBT wala course wala is there with you?
Yeah. That
Will you
brochure.
give it or
Do you
will
have
I?
that? Yeah. Do you have that brochure?
Shivani, yes, you have to talk with for this payment and all. You have to talk with Nisha.
Yeah, I'll just share it with you. Can you please share that brochure?
Yes, 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 this.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
shared it. Can you please share your screen?
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Okay. So, okay, do let me know once the screen is visible.
It's
So
visible, ma'am, on a phone.
okay, Anjali, thank you. So this is the 10-day certified course on CBT where you are getting the international certificate as a CBT practitioner from IOTA, which is an international organization. So again, I will be doing this and I'll be sharing, or any of the admins will be sharing this in the group. Also, you can get what are the courses, what are the things to be taught. And it's elaborative form of CBT, where generally most of, can you please mail this? Megha, it would be pretty difficult for any of the admins to mail
I've
single
just forwarded it onto the group, CBT
group.
group.
Yeah, it's there in the group. You can, or you can message any of the admin. We are going to send you separately, but mailing it's pretty difficult here. So this is for 5 days, not for 5 days, but it's for 10 days. Now here is the second, and yes, along with this, you all are going to get the worksheets, the questionnaires, how to assess, where to assess, and yes, along with this, you are going to get a EAT book, like the soft copy of expressive art therapy, where there are more than 1,000 plus activities which you all can understand with this, like comorbid, you all can go hand in hand. And what are the perks you are getting? You are going to get a certificate of practitioners, which is validated not only in India, international and globally validated. Lifetime access to me and to Sachi. Yes, WhatsApp group is there for peer group support. Now the course is for 1.5 months, right? And it's starting from 18th March. Again, I'm going to take this every Monday and Wednesday from 8 to 9. And the session would be 10 session plus one additional session, where we thought of going for a role play, and yes, the recordings would be available. Not an issue that no recordings would be available. The only thing is that the early bird is 1299, which is valid till tomorrow, but the original price of the whole course is 1999. So those who wants to enroll can get in touch with, this is the bank details which is given over here. Or if you want separately, Rishabh can give, or Sachi is there to give, or even I can share. Yes, Kushbu.
Ma'am, I just want to ask a question
Yeah.
related to my. Actually, I'm facing some issue. I'm a school counselor.
Yes.
So, is it a right time to discuss it because you are sharing the details about your courses? So, if you
Is
want,
it
I can.
related to the course?
No, not related to the course, but basically, I'm dealing with some kind of the problems with the cases. So, I just want to talk about the one case. So,
Okay.
if it is
So you,
possible, I can talk and at the end.
so you can do one thing. You can WhatsApp either me or to Sachi. We can help you out.
Okay, sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, it's a recorded one. For everyday classes, you are going to get a record, Megha. Uh, you can check the WhatsApp group. Everything is there given in the WhatsApp group. Vikas, you can check the WhatsApp group instead of mailing, because mailing one single candidate is pretty difficult for us. So you are not in WhatsApp group. You can text the number given over here. Rishabh, can you send the WhatsApp number so that he can mail you or WhatsApp you so that you can add him?
Sure.
Okay.
So he or she can. I'll just write my number into the chat and we can just connect with.
Yes. Those who are not there in the WhatsApp group, the number Rishabh is giving, you can text him that CBT course or dream therapy course, because that same dream therapy course I am doing. So again, it's for March and I forgot the date. So sorry for this. And also I am doing that. That is also a practitioner course certified from IOTA international certifications you are going to get. So yes.
Madam, I have a question regarding the CBT techniques. Can you go?
Yes.
Can you go back to the slide of the CBT techniques?
Yes, I'll do. You want me to go to the first slide or CBT?
CBT techniques, madam. Like intake. Then.
Okay, I got it. That one.
Yeah, this one, madam. So where does the projective techniques fit in this scenario, madam?
Projective techniques we generally don't do with any sort of clients, but you can go with any sort of negative thought process, that is challenging negative thinkings.
No, madam. The aim of the projective techniques is to access their subconscious thoughts, because if you look at
we don't access in the subconscious thoughts, sir.
No, madam. For example, like you said, CBT did not work for you. So expressive art therapy did work, because art therapy is itself a projective technique.
Okay, you are telling. Okay,
Yeah.
See, why did CBT did not work for me? Because as I know all the sort of CBT techniques, and for me, body shaming was not up to there, and I was having issue with my trauma. Like I was having certain traumatic issue with my body, and certainly I got rejected from some of the beauty pageants and blah blah blah. So I feel that till now CBT don't work with me. But yes, if you ask me about any of the CBT techniques, it works with me. The thought journaling, and yes, if someone says me about the replacement of thought, and yes, if someone challenges my thought, it do works wonder. But as I'll tell you, if you go with any of the CBT techniques, for Rishabh, intake sheet, and yes, intake sheet, introduction and rapport concern area has to be the basic one for all the clients. But it can be like mood inducement and thought journal works better with Rishabh, but others are not gelling well with him.
चलो दिखा लेते हैं चल दिखा लेते हैं हो रही है
Shanti, can you please go on mute? Yeah.
More often than not, more often than not. So clients will not give the direct response what is in their mind, right? So generally they don't reveal each and every aspect of their personality or the thought patterns.
They
So
do
in that,
reveal, sir. Somewhere, see, I'll tell. If you are getting any sort of rigid client who are very rigid with their personality, it would take time, like more than 30 sessions. But Shanti, could you please mute yourself?
मैंने कहा फिर क्या दिखाना है, वो तो यही बोलेगा फिर तो। पर ये ना झुड़ जाता है ना, खांसते खांसते हालत।
you can also unmute.
I did it. Now, for example, what I was saying, I forgot. Could anyone please tell me what I was saying?
Yeah, I mean the client is if the client is rigid.
If the client is rigid, yes. For example, my father, though my mother is also from same background, my mother is a criminal psychologist. My father thinks that only criminals ke liye psychology works wonder, like therapy and everything works wonder. If, for example, I am facing an issue and it happens that we as a therapist also have issues, daily to daily issue. But my father thinks, and he's a very rigid man, he thinks that psychology bol ke kuch nahi hai, number one. Number two, what therapies are. Therapies don't gel with anyone. It's you. For example, I'll tell the example what exactly happens. One of my best friend, he was addicted, and he used to take cannabis, a strong form of cannabis. Now, what exactly happened? I said her mother that please admit him to a rehab in Kolkata. My father said rehab में admission लेके कुछ नहीं होगा because she is not going to सुधरने वाला नहीं है, because it's her own wish that she is taking. I understand, definitely somewhere below the line she was down with everything and she had to take. Now she is addicted and it's better to tell dependent on that cannabis. But my father said he was having an addiction of smoking. He left without being admitted to this rehab and other hospitals. Okay, so what exactly happens? He feels psychology, therapy, rehabilitation is a big zero. It's only a fund of taking money. Yes, but he supports my mother because he thinks only for criminal psychology does wonder. So again, dealing or gelling with this type of client in any of the therapy, it won't do. Only if you go with art therapy, little you can find, but you can't. But again, you have to have patience with yourself, because as a therapist, I understand it's very draining. So you have to have patience. Right now, if my father talks and he's like, I understand you are going to talk about CBT, about SFBT. So he tells me about this. So this is the case which I talk about my father. If I talk about myself, if someone goes with me, mood inducement, I'm not going to. But if someone says me, Shradhanjali, kuch likh do. Even if it is a foul language, write it down, and yeah, I'm good to write it down. For me, venting out is pretty easier. And venting out doesn't mean that I have to break things, show temperament to anyone. But yeah, in form of writing. In form of writing, it's pretty easy. So this is what, sir.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
I have OCD, but it's like this. I am on medication, but I'm not taking any psychotherapy like talking and CBT and everything, which my psychiatrist has advised. And I also have schizophrenia or psychosis. So
Okay.
can I do this course and later on through internet can I spread awareness, or is it only for people who don't have mental illnesses?
No. You can see if you are dealing with this therapeutic technique, you can even help yourself, because in CBT, when I'm going to talk about thought challenging, it can help you also. As an individual, you can challenge your own thought. Yes, you can challenge.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
CBT can be used to any condition, but I believe for OCD, especially for OCD, ERP is the best suited one.
Yes, in CBT, ERP is there, sir. In the course, if you have gone through the course outline, ERP in either in 6th class or in 7th class, I'm going to do about ERP, and it is a 2-day long ERP techniques which I'm going to talk. Okay, So I think there is no questions as of now.
Madam, one final question. So, there is something called emotional sensitivity and invalidating environment. Like I'm talking about DBT. But before DBT, we did not have this concept of dealing with the clients who are extremely emotionally sensitive, and they had to go through this through invalidating environment. So, how does CBT address that situation?
So CBT and DBT is completely different. For DBT, the one who are having bipolar issues or harming technique, that is the deliberate self-harm, for them DBT does wonder. But
no, I'm not talking about self-harm and suicidal behavior. I'm just talking about this concept of emotional sensitivity. Like people are very
emotional sensitivity is not a part of CBT, sir.
No. My point is, if let's say a client came to you with extremely emotionally sensitive, and he or she has gone through this invalidating environment. For example, a toxic person, a toxic family member, or a toxic boss, right? We can't say your thoughts about your boss or your environment is wrong, because that is not the case, right? So we have to address in some way. I am not talking about DBT now, because those can be addressed in the DBT. But I'm talking about how can CBT address that situation.
So firstly, we can go with the thought process, like identifying what are the major issues with it. Can be with family. Like firstly, if you ask me as a therapist what are the therapies I am going to do for the few session, I'm going to start with dance movement therapy to vent out everything with her body or with his body, because I feel that whatever trauma there, not only in our body, it can be stored anywhere in our body part. So any sort of dance movement therapy I'm going to do. Then art therapy, not expressive art therapy. After art therapy, I'm going to do with sand therapy. With sand therapy, I'm going to start with CBT thought diary. And yes, definitely for this clients, for all these issues, client, trauma and grief therapies are there.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, which question? My son is studying healthcare in Canada, ma'am. This course would help him anyway. Healthcare, yes, if he is in the healthcare, ma'am, your son would be benefited from CBT. Because it's not only for the students of psychology, but yes, whoever wants to practice, it's mandatory that you have completed your masters in clinical in psychology, whether clinical, whether IO, whether counseling, anything. But you can practice. It's not that it's only restricted to any sort of psychology students or mental health care. Anyone can practice, and you can raise awareness, because when I'm talking about depression is still a myth. People today, I was watching a video in YouTube. People there are so-called, I don't know what the name it was given in YouTube. There were other dhongi babas. The Aghori babas, especially, they claim that depression, ek din mein, it's like a chutki mein, it would be getting vanished. So, if I get the YouTube link again, I'm going to share it in the group. You can see. So, you can raise awareness. And anyone who is dealing with OCD, it would be benefited for them also. Like I taught my sister about all these techniques, not all, because ek din mein all it's pretty difficult. So it is nothing but going back to the same situation. But going back to the same
First question on cognitive reappraisal.
Yes. Just tell me.
Just answered what is cognitive reappraisal.
See, cognitive reappraisal means, as I said, you have to ask the client. You have to ask the client, tell a problematic situation. As I said, I had a bad fight with my dad last night. Now then you are going to do validations. You have to ask the client. In cognitive reappraisal, you have to ask the client that tell about a problematic situations. Then after that, the next process is you have to challenge. Instead of challenging, you have to validate my thought. Like if I tell I had a fight with my father and I was right, my father was wrong. Anyone being a therapist who is handling my case would be asking, what do you think, in which you were right and in which your father was wrong? Now again, I would say, I gave so many examples, and my father was only telling my age, like his age. Now, again, as a therapist, he or she is going to challenge the thought and he's going to tell, yes, definitely age too matters in this case. After hearing everything, because I'm not telling what exactly was the issue with my father. So, this is how, see, it's a step by step. Ek din means pretty difficult. No one learns about CBT. But the moment you are anyone, I'm not talking about only you, but the moment anyone is asking or anyone is learning about CBT, you can master all other therapeutic techniques. Even narrative therapy, SFBT. In SFBT, there is a portion which is a miracle questioning. You can go with miracle questioning and CBT also with thought diary. So, see, you can link all the therapies.
Yeah, and guys, I think all the questions can't be answered in this workshop yet.
Yes.
So that's why we have a course also, which is for the 10 days, and there Sradhanjali would be yours, and she'll be answering all the questions um, and making you learn about the CBT techniques and telling you about more about the things, right?
Yes. So I hope to see you all in the course. And yes, please mark it. Thank you, Sonal. And the course early bird is till tomorrow. So
Yes.
those who wants to enroll can have a word with Rishabh. The course outline structures is given in the it's given in the
In the
group.
group itself,
Yeah.
and whereas you can ping me as well.
Can I get the Rishabh numbers?
I have
Sorry.
already added into the chat, and
Okay.
if you can, if you are into the group, you can actually reach out to any of the admins of
Okay.
that group.
Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So can I have everyone on camera so that I can click a picture? Actually, and I'm also very sorry that I have to go to a doctor for my dermatologist too because I'm having skin eruption very badly. So, firstly, Rishabh came on camera. Thank you. Okay, can I have everyone on cameras? Fast, fast, fast. Okay, so yes. Okay, just a second. Okay, I'm taking this screenshot. Okay, smile, please. Okay, I have taken this screenshot. I'll give this screenshot in the group. Feel free to text any of the admin regarding the course structures, outline, and yes, worksheets will be given. Like this PPT would be available to you all within 48 hours. Certificate would take 7 to 10
7 to
days.
10 days. Yeah.
Yes, 7 to 10 days. And any questions, write it in the group. Tag any of the admins, we can answer, not an issue. So I'll see you all in the course. So till then, I think you all had a wonderful session with me in CBT and dream therapy. So I wish to see all the pretty faces in all both the courses because you are going to get an international certificate and a certificate of practitioner. It would help you all also. So yes, I'll see you all off in the month of March.
Yeah.
Till
The
then,
course is from 18th March.
yes, 18th March. Don't worry, we are again going to give the CBT course and the dream therapy course again in the group. So
Yeah.
yes, till then I'll meet you up in the month of March. Till then, have a great day ahead. Stay safe. Thank you so much,
You too,
Adila.
madam. Thanks for the session.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
But I
Thank
would
you.
like to hear the feedback in the group because in the dream therapy group, I don't know, no one gave the reply. So I would like to hear how did you all like. It can be a negative feedback also. I won't mind because that can be a strength for me. So yes, see you all off in the month of March. Take care. Bye bye. Good night, everyone.
If in case we are not able to enroll for the month of March, can we do after some time also?
After that, the recordings would be available. You can just buy the recordings. Okay.
All right. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
So much.
I'm opening the chat group so you can just tell the feedback. Okay. Provide your feedbacks. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending the workshop. Thank you so much.